So, welcome connecting Boston innovation with Africa growth opportunity. We're talking about AI, energy, infrastructure, and sort of, where I fit in this conversation. So, now, my name is Leonard Chitange. So, my expertise is I'm a business development consultant, strategic connector, a U.S. Africa market advisor, helping translate business opportunity, global opportunities between ecosystem. So now when we talk about AI, energy infrastructure, especially connected with the Boston innovation with Africa grow opportunity, and especially as Boston is very strong in tech, AI, automation, robotic, energy system. It's going to be Boston Tech Week is definitely this week. So my expertise, my role, I'm not a tech person, geologist or engineer. I help translate opportunity, between strategic partnership and guide ecosystem, between the United States and the continent of Africa, specifically focused in the following sectors: AI, energy, agriculture, fintech, minerals, um, digital payment. These are the top sector that I focus. And just to clarify, I'm not presenting myself as again, as I mentioned, a mining engineer and AI scientist, so geology expert. I think my role has been definitely, again, a more uh, biz development consultant, right? As I mentioned, basically, I work at the intersection of business strategy, market entry, partnership development, ecosystem building, and cross-cultural collaboration. And over time, I just spend a lot of times in rooms with engineer, geologists, just AI professionals, energy expert, a lot of government officials, especially many African delegation coming from West Africa and Washington, D.C. I've been back and forth between Boston and D.C. And really, you know, just engaging them, and talking to a lot of investors. So over time, hey, you notice a lot of things. I think you share a lot of insight. I think what I noticed, especially in this I think this whole conversation about U.S. Africa markets, there's just a lot of American companies are definitely, of course, all we do talk about AI, energy, infrastructure, logistic, fintech, this global growth, right? But I think many still do not fully understand how connected Africa already is to the future of these industry that I've mentioned. You know what I mean? Um, and at the same time, I've also interact with, again, a lot of African government officials from different countries, local company as well. I think ecosystem leaders because to really understand that these folks that I've connected with, I mean, I've built a relationship, partnership, and they already have real project, real infrastructure needs, real market demand, fundable opportunity, especially the many delegations that I've engaged with, coming from the continent of Africa, in these sectors that I mentioned, and they are looking to for the right in a sense, strategic partners. Um, because at the end of the day, you have to be a partnership, right? So my role has been just translator, connector, ecosystem guide, strategy bridge. I'm that bridge, right? And I help simplify complex conversation, you know, that connect the Boston innovation ecosystem with emerging global opportunity in these sectors because everyone's talking about AI, right? The sector of AI, energy, agriculture, fintech, critical minerals, infrastructure, and digital system. So my thing is, I'm definitely especially interesting to have conversation around pilot project. If your company out there, you know, you are an AI, energy, fintech, infrastructure, digital system. I want to have a conversation around pilot project, feasibility study, de-risking strategy, international partnership, and practical business opportunity. So my goal is basically understand that because the future of global economy is becoming more and more. and more connected than many people realize. We interconnected, right? So, and remember, maybe from what I've learned out there, AI needs copper, man. AI needs cobalt, infrastructure, logistic, connectivity and real world system. And that means countries across Africa are increasingly becoming part of the larger global technology and infrastructure conversation because everyone is talking about AI now. I think sometimes when it comes to Africa, it's kind of like I usually say that, talking about African market and US ecosystem, it's like talking about internet in 1994. Remember the internet in 1994? Yeah, it was kind of like hesitant, risky, and emerging. Look where we are now. I think it's still the same when we talk about African markets. We got to catch up. And but let's go back into the AI thing because what I'm saying is that AI, does not just magically work itself. AI needs electricity, data center, internet, copper, and cobalt. These are metal and mineral that's mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is Africa's second largest country, the most mineral-rich country on the planet. We find a lot of copper and cobalt and all the mineral coltan across the DRC mining sector. The DRC Congo is selling a lot of these minerals, and when you sell mineral, guess what? You need systems. You need systems, right? And I think when we're talking about, definitely what AI needs, as I mentioned, electricity and AI need data center, AI need logistic and real infrastructure. So that means that place like Congo, the DRC, and place like what, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Zambia, and definitely, DRC again, because it's becoming more connected to the future of AI, energy, and global system that many people realize, right? I think again, that's why I'm interested definitely in having conversation, basically interested in connecting with companies, startup investors, working with an AI data system, um, because the business opportunity, especially across the African market on the mining sector, energy sector, it's all about building smarter systems. So we need to have system conversation across the U.S. tech ecosystem. I'm not talking about owning mines, right? When it comes to African mining sector or energy, I'm talking about building smarter system. How do we have system conversation around infrastructure, mining, logistic, energy, operation. So that's what I mean. So that's kind of like if you look at AI and data system, again, I mean, if you're an AI expert, you know that AI still need monitoring, operation, automation, analytics. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of business opportunity, building smart system around these infrastructure, around mining, meaning that it's not about owning the mine, it's about understanding the business opportunity surrounding the mine, meaning that if a mine collapse, it definitely, lack a system of environmental monitoring, right? If you look across mining, these mines across the continents, man, a lot of needs around. I think, of course, it's not just about tech. It's also understanding the local community, the mining community who have a lot of needs, which is challenging, which is, let's say, poverty. Let's say you have farm, but it's not like food markets, housing. There's a lot of business opportunity too. So, yeah, that's kind of like AI and data system. If you look at energy and climate tech, the country of Zimbabwe, which I think I have a connection across Zimbabwe, and it's funny, I was learning, engaging my partner over there that Zimbabwe alone needs $9 billion in energy development. That creates opportunity in solar, battery systems, smart grid, just clean energy. And the business opportunity, it's all about, helping solve real energy problem, because that's the thing. You, Many African countries have some serious energy problem, electricity. It's a big deal across the continent, you know. So I think that from a business standpoint of view, helping solve real energy problem while building long-term partnership is the key. Fintech and digital payments, the same thing. As markets grow, you need payment system, right? All these cross-border transaction, mobile money, digital banking, that's something that's everywhere. So the business opportunity, it's again building financial system that support trade, workforce system, and you're gonna hear me say a lot about business opportunity because I'm trying to really talk about the sectors and what is the business opportunity, right? And I think fintech create a lot of demand. Another sector, logistic and supply chain, copper, mineral, food, and all these products all need to move across country and ports, right? Ivory Coast is a good country, Abidjan, West African country. Great sector demand logistic, you know. It basically created demand for, yeah, I think even the whole West African, right? Benin too, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana. But I think when it comes to logistic and supply chain, it creates demand for a tracking system. You gotta understand, we got a lot of great American company. We were good at this tracking system. What was that I learned? Fleet optimization, you know, or warehouse system, you know, the whole warehouse game, right? A lot of AI logistic tool. So the business opportunity is all about making supply chain faster. And then you got engineering infrastructure. And I was welcoming and engaging a delegation from West Africa, especially in the energy sector out of DC, really came to present their project on energy alone. I think my goal was to sort of do the alignment, understanding the return of investment, the de-risk strategy, connect them to well, to first kind of refine their pitch and their engagement. You know, but engineering and infrastructure is huge, man. And as we look at emerging markets, even mature markets, many fast-growing markets still need road, power system, telecom system. Yeah, all you have to do is simplify it from a pure mindset that we have a lot of challenging across Africa, and it's about turning this challenging into business opportunities. And when it comes to engineering infrastructure, I mean, the business opportunities is helping build a system that support long-term growth. So there's a lot of I think sectors, you know, telecom and connectivity is the one too, because AI cannot grow without internet and connectivity. I think it just comes down with the energy, the mother of all. When you have infrastructure issues and gaps in energy, you take care of that, everything else will follow. But I think here in the US, it's good to start having the conversation around systems. And we understand the tech also have to, it's not just tech, you also have to look at the local needs around the entire informal network across this mining, across Africa, right? You know, because there's definitely opportunity there to look at from a human standpoint of view, the artisan, the mining, who have a lot of need as well. These are also business opportunities, as I mentioned earlier. You have to look at mine from a perspective of not just the mineral, because that's, of course, $700 billion market demand, but think about also the business opportunity around mines, around the mining, around the demand of these local population where they need food bakery. I mean, they need housing, they need everything you can name it, right? In that sense. So my thing is to remember that understand the sector, understand the business opportunity, and even when we talk about robotics and industrial automation, as industry grow, um, automation become more important. You know, it's like this automation world is, whew, it's definitely a lot, man. But I think the opportunity here it's very clear. You know, as I mentioned, food processing, of course, is still the needs, even around the mining community, warehouse automation. So I think there's a lot of business opportunity around the sector that I mentioned. So the whole thing about if you're a startup, if you're an investors, is be interesting. I want to connect with startup, innovation lab, venture firm, university. I'm already, you know, engaging with a lot of these institution. And, you know, and then if you're a startup that's looking for pilot projects, some real world application testing environment, global partnership, you know, and scalable infrastructure challenges, because when we talk about the continent of Africa, we have to understand that the goal is not so much rushing blindly into Africa or a lot of these emerging markets. I think you don't rush it because if you're smart investors, I think the goal is to be able to understand, you know, to learn first, start small, you know, build partnership, run some pilot project, test it out, reduce the risk. Risk is a global thing, right? And you have to scale smartly. So there's so many organizations, especially the U.S. government itself, have a lot of agency and tools and that really, really help American company explore opportunities in Africa, sectors of that I mentioned, reduce risk, just run feasibility studies, test pilot project and their funding. So my goal has been to kind of have conversation as much as I can around many American company around these sectors, from AI data system, energy, clean tech, agriculture, food system, because you don't you and remember again, I was going to be repetitive when it comes to African mining sector from a tech perspective, you don't need to own a mine to participate in these opportunities that I've mentioned. A lot of business opportunities, a lot of sector. I think you just need to solve real problem connected to AI, energy, infrastructure, data, logistic, and global system. I think we're having this conversation, but oftentimes it's not well nuanced and balanced. I mean, you got to understand the $1 billion opportunity around the mining sector, critical mineral rare earth is huge. And I think sometimes the conversation is basically about extraction, sell and mine, get the money. But you got to look at how this also translates to how do we balance having the system conversation, and most importantly, quite frankly, around these miners communities. There's mining communities. So we have to change the business model. And I think right now, as we speak across the entire African continent, many African leaders and government ecosystem, really don't want to focus on extraction anymore. I think there's a lot of strategy in terms of geopolitical strategy that the U.S. is using to be able to try to dominate China across this mine, because it's all about owning. Yeah, many African countries want to own now. It's time to own. It's time to have these conversations. Nothing is perfect because there's a lot of stuff happening, geopolitics, drama. But let's talk about business. Let's talk about understand the sector, the business opportunities. So connect with me. I hope this was helpful. My information is below, and let's connect. Let's have this conversation.